Hi everyone, this is Claire Waldron, CT coach out in Spain. And this little video blog is about hoof trimming with a frightened aggressive rescue pony called Valiente. Valiente was bred in Holland, and at 2 months old he was taken from his mom and imported to Spain. His new owner had paid a lot of money for him, but for whatever reason his owner shut him in a very small stable. He couldn't turn around or lie down, his feet were very overgrown and his body was deformed. Thankfully though, when he was 2 years old, he was rescued by Arch Rescue Centre with another pony called Hope, who was almost blind. Unfortunately, because of Valiente's history, he had to have a lot of treatment to save his life. As you can see in the picture here, he's got his feet bandaged up after having treatment on them. His hooves were overgrown terribly, but the other thing was, for a small pony, he was strong enough to inflict some serious damage to vets, farriers and carers, and the volunteers at Arch spent many hours just sitting on the other side of the fence with him, trying to get him to accept human touch and accept humans as part of his life. But it didn't work. It was to no avail. It was fantastic. They managed to save his life, and physically he was really great. But emotionally, it just wasn't good at all. So I'd been in touch with Arch Rescue Centre, and we talked about Valiente and Hope coming to me for further rehabilitation. So I had a pony who was very aggressive and would chase people out of the field, and he would go with his teeth and not just his feet, so it was very aggressive. So we needed a safe way to communicate with Valiente and build up his trust in humans again and get into a place where he could actually start to learn. The answer is protected contact, and we started working with a barrier between Valiant and us. The simplest and easiest option was to start to ask if he could come and say hi from the other side of the fence.
Good boy. There's nice ears. Good boy.
Now, it's one thing to be interacting with him over the fence, but we needed to be able to trim his feet, and this is where I looked at protected contact in zoos and wildlife parks. And here you can see we have elephants, moose, giraffe, all having their feet looked at in protected contact. So this was something that we needed to look at and figure out how to train with little Valiente. In the beginning, we couldn't touch him at all. He might have the odd scratch, but actually touching his legs, he was very defensive. And obviously hoof trimming was essential for him. So we used a handheld target to help him understand that being touched wasn't such a bad thing, and to also help him understand what he needed to do with his feet. He could always choose to walk away if he wanted to. That was really important. By using the handheld target, I could actually stay out of his space. He was still very defensive if you went too close to him, even with the barrier in place. So here you can see I have got the handheld. It's an old riding crop with a cloth tied to the end. Just asking him to target and then using it to just start to touch his legs. That lift was a little bit snatchy, so I just wait and ask again.
Good boy.
So that was a very short excerpt from some of the beginnings of the training with him, and using the stick enabled me to stay right out of his space, which was really important. The next thing I had to think about was how was I going to ask him to put his foot up on something so that I could actually start to trim his feet using nippers and a rasp eventually. I use the concrete block because sometimes the hoof stands are not very heavy. Because I couldn't hold it, it needed to be something that was very stable and heavy and solid. It took a little while for this to happen, and this is one of the first times that he actually put his foot up on the block, and I used capturing. Even in the beginning, it was how to bring his attention to the block, so that again we use the target for that, and then we get to this stage, and my focus is all on the block, and the timing of the click is so important.
You good boy.
So as you can see, that was a really great moment when he starts to be able to put his feet up on the block, and from there we worked on duration, making sure that he could keep his foot up there for a lot longer. He was a lot better in his body by this time because he lives out 24/7 in a herd, so he gets lots of movement. But for him to stand on 3 legs and balance, I had to be really mindful that I couldn't ask for too much in the beginning. And here we are. It's actually longer than 5 weeks, actually. It's sort of through the winter. So that was in the springtime, and this is now through the winter. So we're also in a different position. So we had to make sure he was comfortable with moving places. And now this becomes his favourite place to have his feet trimmed. He knows when he's in this position that that's what we're going to do, and the clarity really helps him relax. In the beginning, when I was asking for his back feet, he would snatch quite a lot, and I would always wear a riding hat just in case. But at this stage, he's doing so much better, and as you can see, I'm starting to use the nippers on his feet. In the beginning, he really didn't like the rasp on his feet. He didn't like the feeling at all, so it was a case of using the nippers. I'm very lucky that I had supervision from Leslie Holhouse, a very experienced barefoot hoof trimmer, and she was always available for any questions that I had for her to make sure that I was doing it correctly and giving him what he needed. And then we ran a hoof trimming course here, and this was one of the videos the students took, and it was a really proud moment because Valiant, he became a demo pony, and he started to teach everyone what was actually possible with positive reinforcement and using protective contact. It was quite an amazing day, because behind the camera there's quite a few people watching, and he just took it all in his stride. And this is a video that's been shared to Facebook. It's been watched over 76,000 times now and shared almost 900 times, and it makes me really proud that this little pony has gone from being frightened and aggressive to being so engaged with the world and showing what's possible.
Boy. Good man. You're so good. You're so good.
Wow. Good boy.
Good boy. You are an angel.
So
An angel. Good boy.
You have to sedate them and put them on the floor or something.
This just shows you the...
It's like
the
zoo training.
yeah.
But they used to just sedate zoo animals before.
Yeah.
Didn't they?
The
Dart
power,
them
the
or
power, the power of this, though.
Yeah.
And even after
Good
Nick
boy.
Withdraws.
Boy.
doesn't,
You're such a good man.
So as you can see, his emotions around people and the training have really changed. Now his future is incredibly bright. You can see from the photograph on the left, I'm starting to rasp his feet from underneath and using a hoof jack as well, which is fantastic. And he's so relaxed. You can see he's still got his cone in front of him for his stationary target to help him focus on where he's going to stand. And on the right hand side, you can see me still in contact-ish, but we're using a gate now, and starting to go in with him a little bit. And in the photograph there, he's just starting to get the hang of taking something from my hand, which we are developing into fetch. He's also learning his colours, and he's continuing to work with guests here who come to learn about positive reinforcement, and he's an absolute superstar working with them and showing them what's possible. Really hope you've enjoyed Valiente's story, and if you'd like to know more, follow the links at the bottom. Thank you.
I hope you enjoyed that video from CT Coach Claire and the wonderful story of her training with Valiente. If you would like to know more about training this way, then do check out the Connection Training Club, which is our online membership club where you can join all of our wonderful members, and we've got loads of stuff going on. We've got home study courses with lots of training videos. So in the foundation course, which is really the place where you get started, we actually cover a lot of the lessons with rescue horses, and you can see me working with a range of rescue ponies from Hope Pastures Rescue Centre in the UK, and that's really where, so you can see some the beginning there of working with building trust and with horses who are a bit fearful or don't like to be touched, can't be caught, as well as some of the aggressive issues as well. We've also got a daily handling course and healthcare procedures, which kind of covers a lot of the basics of beginning to work and handle horses who have these kind of issues around things like leading, standing tied, being touched, picking up feet, all of that sort of stuff. We've also got a full despooking course as well, and a lot of this, I would say most actually, of this kind of behaviour stems from fear. So the despooking course is all about building confidence and calmness and connection in a whole variety of situations, so they will really help as well. On top of that, you can join our wonderful community from all over the world. We've got a lovely forum where everybody's really friendly and supportive, and you get to join our Facebook group. We've got an Inside Chat blog where you get extra material just for members. You can join Rachel and I and chat to us directly in our Q&As, join in the monthly challenges, loads of stuff going on. You can also find out more in our book. If you go to Amazon and search for Connection Training, it should pop up, and Valiente features in there too, so you can find out more about him, as well as hoof handling, protected contact, working with rescue horses, dealing with difficult emotions in horses and helping them to become softer and more relaxed, building trust. All of that stuff can be found there too. And if you want to find out more, then head over to connectiontraining.com. You'll find all the information there about Rachel and I. You can find out about the book, and also you can join the CT Club. So we hope to see you there. Thank you for watching.